On your back, hugging your knees up to your chest. So just in that position, on your back, rolling around, noticing your back on the floor, and bringing your attention into your room, into your private yoga studio, noticing the sounds in the room, and noticing the sounds outside your room. Tuning into your breath, not trying to control it in any way, just breathing in and breathing out. As you roll around on your lower back, making whatever movements your body feels is right for you at this moment, scan your body to notice how you're feeling physically. Exhaling into any areas of tightness or stiffness. Gently rolling around in that circular movement. Noticing your thoughts. You might have had a busy morning. Leaving your thoughts behind. Giving yourself the time for this 1 hour practice. Tuning into your space and tuning into your personal zone. Acknowledging all the great work that you do here for yourself and for each other in our yoga community. Today's practice will include some shoulder opening and hip opening, a little bit of lower back release, a playful movement, a bit of balancing, and we'll finish with a nice restorative yoga Nidra. I encourage you to be curious, have some fun and try a few things, remembering that you can always rest in child's pose at any time. As you take a few more breaths, I invite you to set your intention for your practice so you can take that with you. When you're ready, gently rolling onto your side and breathing out as you push up and come into a seated position. We're going to start with an Om. I invite you to join me, but you don't have to. We're going to take a big deep breath in and then let it go. And then another deep breath in. Om. Okay, coming on to all fours. Having your shoulders, hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. We're going to do just a few movements in a circle as we warm up through our bodies. Noticing your breath. Taking your fingertips out to the side, we'll do some little movements as we warm up our wrists. Just keeping going in a circular movement. And then if it's comfortable for you, having your fingers pointing back towards your knees, very gently. If that doesn't work for you, then just keep them pointing out to the side. Just doing some just gentle movements around, warming up the wrist area. We use our wrists quite a lot in yoga. And then pointing your fingers forward again. We're going to do a few cat-cows. So as you inhale, lift through your chest and lift your gaze. So you have a nice curve in your lower spine. And as you exhale, bringing your spine up towards the ceiling, arching it up and looking through your knees towards your feet. And then inhale back, arching your back, lifting your gaze. Just continue on here for another 5 or 6 breaths as we warm up our spine and get a little bit of movement right across the whole spine. Then coming back to a neutral position, we're going to start with a little bit of shoulder opening. So we're going to lift our left hand up towards the ceiling, and we're going to follow our gaze on that hand up to the ceiling. So you're opening up through your chest. And as you exhale, bringing that hand back down towards the floor, but underneath the right hand. So you're hovering that hand just above the floor on the right side. And then we're going to inhale and bring it all the way back up again, having your eyes watching that hand go to the ceiling, giving a nice twist through the upper back, and then bringing that hand back down underneath the right hand, hovering it just above the floor, and all the way back up again. This time we're going to take that left hand to the floor, and we're going to take our right hand a little bit forward and bring our shoulder and our ear down towards the mat. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths, opening out through that left side of the shoulder. And on your inhalation, you're going to bring the right hand back towards you and open up. Bring your left hand back to center. And then we're going to move to the other side. So this time we're going to, with a nice flat back and our knees lined up underneath our hips and our hands underneath our shoulders, we're going to inhale and lift our right hand up to the ceiling, following the gaze, opening up through the chest. As you exhale, bringing that right hand down and underneath your left, gazing towards that right hand. And then inhale, coming all the way back up. And exhale all the way down. As you inhale, come up again, following the gaze of the hand, open right up through the chest. And then we're going to take our hand back down underneath the left, bring our shoulder and head down towards the mat, and moving our left hand forward and relaxing into this stretch through the right side of our shoulder blade for 5 breaths. And then bringing that hand back to center and coming back up to all fours. Taking your knees nice and wide on the mat and bring your buttocks down to your heels. Walking your hands forward into child's pose. And let's stretch out through the lower back and upper back. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Bringing your forehead down towards the mat. Nice deep stretch. And one more breath to go. And then coming up to the neutral position again on all fours. We're going to go into chaturanga. So we're going to lift through our left leg first of all. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the left leg and we're going to lengthen through the foot, keeping that leg in the air. And we're going to do a circle in a clockwise direction. So keeping the back nice and stable and taking that left foot in a circular motion. We'll do 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to take it the other way, so into anti-clockwise, really lengthening out through the foot, squeezing through the buttocks, strengthening through our left hip. 1 more breath here, and then bringing that left knee in next to the right knee, having your knees comfortably hip width apart. Then we go to the right side. So as we inhale, we're going to lift through our right hip and taking that in a circular motion, extending out through the right foot, squeezing the buttocks, and then we take it in anti-clockwise direction for 3 more breaths. And then bringing that knee down to the mat. And we're going to extend through alternate leg and arm. So we're going to inhale, lifting your left leg, right arm, really lengthening out through the hand and the foot. Then we're going to exhale, bring them back to ground and swap over to the other side, lifting right leg, left hand. And we're going to continue on for 6 more cycles. Really keeping the back nice and flat. Imagine you've got a bowl of water on your back that you don't want to spill. Each time you inhale, you're lifting alternate hand and foot, lengthening out, pointing the toes down towards the floor, and exhale as you bring them back to earth. And swapping from side to side, getting nice extension through the shoulder and through the hip, using your core to keep you nice and steady. Let's go 1 more on each side. Coming back to center and then tucking your toes under, and we're going to lift our hips up to the sky for our first downward dog. And we're going to hold our downward dog here for about 5 breaths, paddling our heels down towards the mat. A nice stretch through the back of our legs and through our upper back and our arms. Then we're going to, on our next inhalation, we're going to send the left leg up towards the sky into a 3-legged dog. If this is a little bit intense for you, you can stay in a normal downward dog. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths, bringing the right heel down towards the mat. And then bringing that left foot down to the mat, taking a breath here in downward dog, and then we're going to inhale and lift the right leg up towards the sky, Pointing the toes down to the mat. Holding here for 3 breaths. And then bringing that right foot down, finishing it off with a downward dog for 3 more breaths. Pushing your hips up towards the sky, bringing your head through your arms, looking back towards your toes, and then bringing your knees down towards the mat and rest into child's pose. Thinking about the intention for your practice as you notice the energy that you've built up so far in your practice. One more breath into child's pose. And then coming up into neutral position, tucking your toes under, pushing up into downward dog, looking forward towards your hands and stepping your legs to your hands into a forward fold. Staying here for 5 breaths, noticing the feeling down the back of your legs and around your lower back. Each time you exhale, bringing your body a little bit closer to your legs, stretching out through that nice stretch through the lower back here. 2 more breaths. And then inhale, bending your legs a little bit, bringing your arms all the way up to the sky into mountain pose. Then bring your hands back to heart center in Tadasana. So, just giving your body a little bit of movement here. We're going to go into some sun salutes, getting some energy into our practice. So I will run you through the first one to show you. If you feel confident enough to come with me, you can. If not, just watch the first round. And we're going to do 4 or 5 rounds. So we're going to start off, we'll inhale at the top of your mat. You're starting at the top of the mat. Inhale, lifting your arms up, looking up into mountain pose. Exhale forward into Uttanasana. Inhale, lifting your chest, lengthening out through your spine. And then exhale, hands to the floor, stepping back either into high plank, onto your toes, or to your knees, low plank. And then we're going to exhale and slowly lower our body down to the mat. Inhale, lift through our chest into an upward dog. Exhale as we tuck our toes under, coming up into a downward dog. We'll stay here for a breath. Then we're going to take our gaze forward, bring our feet towards our hands into forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift through our chest, lengthen our spine. Exhale, draw our chest into our legs. Then inhale, coming all the way up to mountain pose and back to heart center. So that's 1 full round. Let's do 4 more rounds. So coming together, and we're at the front of the mat. Inhale, lifting up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, lift our chest and our gaze, lengthening through the spine. Then exhale, stepping back into high plank or into low plank on your knees. Slowly lowering down as you exhale. Inhale, lifting up into upward dog. And then tucking your toes under. Bringing your hips up to the ceiling for a downward dog. Pause here for a breath. And then we're going to move our gaze to our hands and step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, lifting our chest, lengthening our spine. Exhale, folding forward. Again, bringing our chest towards our legs, hugging that in tight. And then inhale, coming all the way up. And back to heart center. Okay. Let's go at your own pace now. Feel free to follow on with me or just take it off your own breath and your own movement. So we've got 3 more to go. But 2 more to go. Continue on. I'm going to have a look at what you're doing. Nice. Good. That's it. Nice work. Everybody's looking really good. Just taking it at your own pace, noticing your breath. And I'm going to do my last round. Okay. So just finishing off your last round and coming into Tandasana with your hands at heart center, noticing your breath. Okay. The next pose we're going to do is a garland pose. So this is where we go into a deep yogi squat. If you would like to, you can put something underneath your heels to help support you in this squat. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands to heart center, take our feet about hip width apart and pointing our toes out. And we're going to drop down into a deep squat with our hips up. See how this feels for you. If your knee feels a little bit niggly, you might want to come up a little higher, or you might find if you move it around a little bit, coming up and down a little bit, your knee might then be happier. So lifting our chest here and gently pressing our elbows against our knees to open up through the hip area. We're going to stay here for 3 more breaths. Just noticing the hip opening and the stretching through the inner groin here. Chest up nice and tall. And 1 more deep breath. And then bringing your hands to the mat and lengthening out through your legs into a forward fold. Tucking your hands underneath your feet or having your hands on the mat next to you. Letting your head fall forward. Heavy through the chest. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Just noticing that deep stretch through the legs, through the glute area and the lower back. Each exhalation, you can draw your body a little bit closer to your legs and to intensify that stretch. And one more breath here, releasing your hands and then coming all the way up. And then hands back to heart center. We're going to go into a chair pose next, so I'll just go side on here. So bringing our toes together and our feet, our heels a little bit apart. We're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to drop down into a chair pose. So we've got, it's like we're sitting on a seat here. It's quite intense through the quads, having chest up nice and tall. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths, lifting your toes, having your weight on your heels, chest up nice and tall. And one more breath. And then we're going to turn towards our left side, and we're going to hook our right elbow on our left knee, just outside the left knee, and looking to keeping our hands either in prayer position, or you can lift your hands up into a little bit more of a twist. Stay here for 3 more breaths. And then bringing your hands back together, coming up into Tandasana, giving your legs a little bit of a shake here, a little bit of movement. And then we're going to go back down into chair pose, and then we're going to twist to the other side. So let's inhale together. So have your toes together, heels slightly apart. And we're going to inhale and then exhale. Come down into the chair pose. That's it. So keeping your chest up nice and tall, lifting the weight, lifting your toes off the mat. Staying here for 5 breaths. Noticing your breath. And one more breath here. And then turning towards your right side. So you've got your left hand on the outside of your right knee, looking towards the right side. So you can either keep your hands in prayer, or you can take your right hand up towards the sky to open out your chest a little more in the twist. And 3 more breaths here. And then bring your hands back to heart center and twisting to the front, and then coming up into Tandasana. That's it, giving your legs a little bit of movement. It's quite a strong movement on your quads. And we're going to go into some Warrior One sequences. So we can do this together. I'll talk you through it. So we're going to start off with standing in Tandasana. We're going to turn out our left foot and step forward with our right foot. As we inhale, we're going to lift our arms up and we're going to bend our right knee. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths, noticing our hip flexor on the left side, stretching there, lifting our gaze and lifting our chest. That's it. So the right knee should be bent over stacked over the top of the toes. And then we're going to bring our hands down and clasp our hands behind our back, if that's okay for you, or you can put your hands out to the side. And we're going to fold forward into humble warrior. Lift our hands from our chest. So stretching, nice stretch through that shoulder area. The front leg is still bent. So we'll stay here for 3 more breaths. And then we're going to drop our right hand down next to our right foot, or if you have a block, you can put your hand on the block, or you can have your hand at your ankle. Bring our left hand down, and then we're going to lift that left hand up towards the sky and lift our gaze with the hand and straightening out that front length into a twisted triangle pose. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And one more breath here. Then bringing the left hand down, both hands framing that front foot and lengthening out through that front leg and feeling that stretch through the front leg. You can lift the toes off the ground if you like. And staying here for 5 breaths. And then we're going to step forward into a balance. So we'll just talk you through this one. So you're going to have your hands down on the mat. You're going to take your weight forward on that right foot, lifting your left leg off the ground. So you can stay just here, bring your hands a little further forward. So you're balancing your weight on your right leg, or you can take your hands off the mat into an aeroplane pose. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. And then bring our hands back to the floor and dropping that left foot back to the floor and then coming back up. And bring your hand to heart center and your feet together. Well done. So just be curious around that balancing. Just give it a go, have a play with it. Let's go to the other side now. So we're going to turn our right foot out slightly to the side, step forward with our left foot. We're going to inhale, lift our arms, lift our chest and our gaze and bend that front knee. So the front knee should be bent over the foot. And we're going to lift our chest, lift our gaze, feeling that nice stretch through the right hip flexor this time, and nice stretch through the shoulders for another 4 breaths. And then we're going to bring our hands down and clasp them behind us or take them out to the side. And then we're going to fold forward into humble warrior, stretching through our shoulders, lifting the hands off our back for 5 breaths. Noticing you stretch through the shoulders, a little stretch through the back of the left leg. Relaxing your shoulders, gazing down towards your left toes. One more breath here. Then we're going to drop our left leg, our left hand next to our left leg. And we're going to take our right hand up to the sky and gazing at that right hand. The front leg now should be lengthened out. So you're in a twisted triangle pose. We're here for 3 more breaths. And then we're going to bring both hands down to frame our left leg. Straightening out that left leg, noticing a nice stretch through the back of the left leg, lifting your toes up. I'm going to stay here for 5 breaths. One more breath here, and then we're going to go into our balancing. So we're going to take our hands forward a little bit, lift that right foot off the mat. So you can balance here, so balancing on the left leg with the right foot off the mat, hands on towards the front of the mat, or you can be curious and you can lift your hands off the mat into an aeroplane pose. If you find that you're losing your balance, just bring your right toe down to the mat, and then just try it again. You might notice that you're better on one side than the other. One more breath here. Then bring your hands back down to the mat. Bring your weight to the right foot and coming all the way back up. Well done, everyone, on that one. That was hard. I noticed my right side was a lot stronger than the left side, but it's fun to try and play with it. We're going to come down to the mat next. So into a seated position with your legs out in front. So up on your sit bones with a nice tall spine gazing forward. We're going to inhale, lift our arms, and then we're going to exhale, fold forward, have our hands either on our toes or on our shins or our ankles. So we're gazing forward at our toes, and we're going to stay here for 5 breaths, and each time you exhale, bringing your chest down towards your legs a little bit more. This one's called Paschimottanasana. It's a seated forward fold. So the sensation is similar to what you have when you're in a standing forward fold, but you're supported by the earth in this one. Coming back to your breath and remembering your intention for your practice today, taking that with you. We've got 2 more breaths here. And then releasing your hands, coming into an upright position. And we're going to go into a butterfly. So we're going to bring our soles of our feet together, opening out our knees, having them fall to the side like a butterfly, and relaxing our back onto the mat. So just gently lowering your back to the mat, having your hands placed on your top of your thighs, just placing a little weight there or onto your tummy, letting those knees fall out to the side, noticing your breath here and noticing the opening through the hip area. So we're going to take 3 more breaths here. And then bringing your knees together, drawing your heels towards your buttocks. And we're going to lift up into a bridge pose. So on your next inhalation, lifting up through the hips, bringing them up towards the ceiling. And you can either leave your hands at the side or you can draw them in underneath you in a clasp position and tuck your shoulders under, lifting as high as you can through the hips, squeezing your buttocks and bringing your chin to your chest. And I invite you to soften your gaze and take 5 nice long breaths. Noticing how your body is feeling. One more breath, and then releasing your hands and gently lowering your spine down to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. Hugging up your knees to your chest and moving your knees in a clockwise direction, massaging through your lumbar spine. This is a counter pose to the seated forward bend and also to the bridge, and then taking your knees in an anti-clockwise direction. Bring your knees down to the mat, bring your feet down to the mat, sorry, and taking your arms out to the sides, we're going to drop our knees towards the left and gaze towards our right, bring a twist into our spine. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Noticing the nice stretch and massage through the right hand side organs. A little bit of a release in the lower back. Next inhalation, bring your knees to the center. And exhale to the right hand side with your knees and looking to the left. Keeping your shoulders nice and flat on the ground, relaxing them to the ground. And relaxing your knees to the right side on each exhalation. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Then bring the knees back to the center. We're going to lift our left leg and bring it across in front of our right thigh. So our left leg is crossed in front of our body. Bring our hands towards our left leg and we're going to draw that into our chest as we exhale. So as we draw it in, we're exhaling through the breath in the chest. And 1 more full breath. So exhaling as you bring it towards your chest. And then we're going to inhale as we let our right foot drop down to the mat. We're going to place our right hand on our left knee, left hand out to the side from our shoulder, and we're going to draw that left knee to the right side. So it's similar to the last stretch, but a little bit more intense this time. And taking 3 nice, long, deep, relaxing breaths. Each time you exhale, just letting your body relax into it a little more. And inhaling towards the center. And swapping your legs over. So right leg is coming across in front of the left thigh. And taking your hands towards your right knee. Exhale as you bring that towards your body. Feeling that nice stretch and release through your right glute. One more inhale as you draw it in towards your chest. And bringing that left foot down to the ground. Place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand out to the side. Exhale as you draw that right knee to the left side this time and gaze towards your right side. Let your body relax into that twist. And keeping your shoulders nicely relaxed and placed on the ground underneath you. Each time you're exhaling, relaxing a little bit more into the stretch. And 1 more breath. Then inhaling, bringing your knees back to center, placing both feet down on the ground, hugging your knees to your chest, rinsing out that twist, and moving your body in whatever way feels right for you. You might want to reach forward and grab your feet into happy baby pose. Moving around, enjoying the nice massage on your lumbar spine after that deep twisting. And then we're going to go into an inversion. So you can choose whichever method works for you. You might want to have your legs up the wall, or you might have them placed on a bed or a chair or against a table, or you might want to come up into a half shoulder stand. So I'll let you choose whichever, or you can lay on the ground and just take your legs straight up. Whatever works for you, or if you have a bolster or a block, you can place it underneath your lower back into a supported shoulder stand. So whatever is the right one for you today, coming into your position. If you're coming into a supported shoulder stand, having your hands at your hips, drawing your elbows a little bit forward. In this position with your legs up, giving them a little bit of light movement, a little bit of circles through your ankles, feeling nice and light with your legs in the air. And then focusing back in on your breathing. If you have yourself in a half shoulder stand, you might want to drop your feet down towards the floor over your head into a ploughman's pose. And we stay here for a couple more breaths. And then exhaling as you gently roll your spine down to the mat and coming into Savasana. So finding yourself in a nice, comfortable, grounded position. If you feel you need to bend your knees, you can. You can also place a bolster under your knees. If you have an eye pillow, you can place that on, and a warm top or a blanket so that you retain the heat that you've built up through your practice. Noticing how you're feeling, getting really comfortable in this position. We're now preparing for the Yoga Nidra practice. Taking 3 deep, relaxing breaths, relaxing your body. Being aware of the sounds in the distance. And being aware of the sounds in the room. Without attempting to identify the source of the sound. Being aware of your physical body lying in Savasana. Noticing your alignment, your chin lower than your forehead, your spine aligned, your arms close to the body, fingers away from the floor, as comfortable as possible. Becoming aware of your breath, keeping it completely spontaneous. Repeat your intention for your practice mentally 3 times with feeling. Rotating your consciousness around your body. starting with your right hand thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm, back of your hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side trunk, hip, thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, top of your foot, bottom of your foot, toes, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Check your awareness that you're still awake. Moving your attention to the left side of your body. Left hand, thumb, forefinger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, palm, back of your hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, right side trunk, left hip, right hip, knee, lower leg, ankle, heel, top of your foot, bottom of your foot, toes, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Noticing your awareness that you're still awake. Moving your intention to the back of your body, heels, back of your legs, buttocks, back, shoulder, arms, hands, whole spine, neck, back, head, crown of your head, forehead, right temple, left temple, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, eyebrow center, right eye, left eye, right ear, left ear, right cheek, left cheek, right nostril, left nostril, lips, chin, throat, chest, 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 abdomen, 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 pelvis, pelvis, pelvis. Become aware of your breath, counting back from 17 to 0. Checking your awareness that you're still awake. Awakening the feeling of warmth in your body. Your whole body is warm. Your arm is warm. Your legs are warm. Your back is warm. Your whole body is warm. Now awaken the feeling of coolness in your body. Imagine the whole body is cool. Your legs are cool. Your arms are cool. Your whole body is cool. Bringing the awareness to the front of your closed eyes. Imagine the following objects as they are named. A setting sun, a red rose, a beautiful garden, a clear blue sky, a rainbow, sound of the ocean, an elephant, an eagle, golden autumn leaves, smell of the rain, the laughter of children. Now is the time in your practice to repeat your intention 3 times with feeling. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Feel your body resting in Savasana, aware of the room that you're in and the surrounding floor, the ceiling, the walls, and the windows. Notice the sounds inside the room, outside the room. Recall the time of day it is, a Wednesday afternoon, and know that the practice of Yoga Nidra is coming to an end. I will chime the singing bowl once. The practice of Yoga Nidra is complete. Gently rolling to one side, taking some deep breaths there. Noticing your body. And notice how you're feeling. Thank you for being here today, for all you do for yourselves, for each other. Bring your hands to your forehead for kind thoughts and to your lips for kind words. and to your heart for a kind heart. Noticing how you're feeling at the moment and endeavouring to take that with you for the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Namaste.